Judd's Hockey Show.
Oh boy, is it ever Judd's Hockey Show / playoff time wild vent line. Judd and Declan, it's 1:06 in the morning. We just saw what was a remarkable double overtime, longest wild game in their history as far as the playoffs go. 3-2, they win. It's improbable. It's incredible. There is so much to talk about. But before we do that, Declan, why don't you give the ground rules on what we're going to try to do here early on Wednesday morning or on Tuesday morning when it comes to Wild Vent Line?
All right, so it's 1 a.m. Central Time. Right now, the Wild just won their longest game in franchise history, as Judd just alluded to. If you want to get in on this show, by all means, shoot me an email right now. For the YouTube audience, as we're doing this live, by the way, so if you're consuming this in the podcast audience, don't shoot me an email right now if you're consuming this in the morning. But right now, on the YouTube channel, we have almost 1,000 people watching us, standing up with us right now. If you want to get in on this show, shoot me an email. It's vikingsventline@gmail.com. I know it's Vikings. It's just a dummy email account, okay? We're not going to make a second one. If you'd like to get in on this show, it's vikingsventline@gmail.com. If you got things you want to vent about, positives, because the Wild just won a double overtime game, even some negatives. This is a safe space for all your takes, Judd. So this is Judd's Hockey Show. If you'd like to get in, shoot me an email. It's vikingsventline@gmail.com.
An absolutely incredible hockey game. It had so many twists. It had so many turns. Ryan Hartman essentially playing on one leg, I guess not surprisingly because it's playoff hockey, scores the game-winning goal in the second OT. Brock Faber not only plays, but he's so damn good that he essentially saved Mason Marchment from scoring the winning goal probably 3 to 4 minutes before Hartman scored. Filip Gustavsson, Declan, just unbelievable. The second power play goal that Dallas scored to take a 2-1 lead in the second period by Jason Robertson. Not a great goal, but after that, the Gus Bus stood on his bleeping head. Jake Ottinger made about 4 saves in OT combined in the first and second that were phenomenal. Marcus Johansson had 2 scoring chances that were great. We could just go on and on. I have one question, though, and I tweeted this out in the second OT. So one of the plays that sort of turned the tide when Dallas was rolling in the second period after they took a 2-1 lead was the Dumba hit on Pavelski. And we could debate this hit. It's a late hit, but it's a hit that comes within the confines of the action. I think the league did a good job of slowing it down, speeding it up, and saying, okay, this is not a penalty. It's a vicious hit, but those type of hits happen. But here's my question. Where's this Matt Dumba been? After that hit, Matt Dumba had one of the best games I have seen him have in years. It's one of the best games he's had as a member of the Wild. Don't look now, but this is a guy I thought was gone. Like, I thought this Matt Dumba, this version of Dumba, was long gone. He almost, it was an unbelievable, I think it was 2 minutes into the first overtime, Jake Ottinger off a tic-tac-toe pass that went Kaprizov to Zuccarello to Dumba. Ottinger made an unbelievable save. But this Matt Dumba, the minutes played, his defensive play, his offensive play, all these things that I hadn't seen. And Ted, you are right. Brock Faber, better than Fiala, because Brock Faber stepped in tonight, and my God, this is a young man. As someone tweeted me, this kid has finals in 2 weeks. And he is, the way that he played and the way that this team played, and I know that they were completely gassed at the end, but the way that this team played within the structure, when they are clearly not the better offensive team, but you know what they are? They've got that thing that the Blues had against the Wild, right? They've got that thing where they might not be, or not, they might not be. The Wild's not the sexy team here. They're the hard-hitting, hard-working team. But, man, they don't go away, and they didn't tonight. I have very little to nitpick. I know that offensively they weren't great. and they're really not, and that's them. Um, I think after the not one but two cross checks that Suter delivered to Kaprizov, including the blatant one that didn't get called in front of the goal, I think this late in the third period. I think Kaprizov was shaken up because he didn't look like himself in OT. He made a couple plays, but he didn't look like. I mean, he was the first three periods. He was dominant. He was flying around. First period, he was great. He was a one-man team at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I got notes, and I want to get to the people. But Dex, I can't tell you just flat out how impressed I am, not just by this win, but how it was, but the way to get the route to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you love to see. I thought Dumbo was great in the overtime. I thought Nyqust was phenomenal. Gustafsson setting a franchise record for saves. There was a lot of good takeaways there. You were just waiting for someone to make the grave mistake, essentially. And, Dallas was the one who made it. And it felt like in the first overtime period, we were sitting on eggshells, walking on eggshells, waiting for Dallas to probably score. But you go and you reset. You go back into that break. They brought food in, according to Leah Hextall, because the team hadn't eaten in like 12 or 13 hours or something. So a little extra pregame or between overtime period fuel ends up working out for the Wild. Little on-air production meeting for you, Judd, and for the listeners hanging out in the green room here. We have over 1,000 people watching us at 1 a.m. Central right now. We got people flying into the room. Little ground rules for vent line gas as you pop on the screen.
Yeah.
Fun space to be.
Don't swear.
Please don't swear. I have to already stay up to like 2 a.m. You're going to make my life a lot more difficult. Please don't swear. That's basically our only ground rule. So we're going to turn this show over to you here in just a little bit to get as many Vikings. I'm very used to Vikings fans on Vent Line. Wild fans as I possibly can to hear from here on Wild Vent Line. So are you ready, Judd? Should we just kick this off? Should we send it over to him?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
Bring him in.
Ryan, you're batting lead off. Welcome to Wild Vent Line, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. That was one heck of a game. I don't think I've seen them play such a complete game in a long time. I mean, Gustavsson was phenomenal, save after save in that third and overtime period. I mean, Ottinger barely even got any shots to see. And then when he did, he made some amazing saves himself. But then, of course, the play of the game that ended it. Ryan Hartman, I'm a Ryan. I just thought that was epically funny. Ottinger from Lakeville. I mean, that was crazy.
Playing on one knee too. Yeah. So great points. And yes, that was a lot to digest. But I mean, they got home ice back and they deserved it. Like they really did. Dallas didn't deserve to lose, but that's not a fluke win. And I know that Dallas essentially dominated offensively in OTs, but it sure didn't feel like, oh man, they're playing poorly. They look completely gassed, but yeah. Let's keep going.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go to Mark in Minneapolis here. Mark, that's a great stash. I should have kept mine now. I have a little bit
thanks,
of regret.
guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we got you.
All right, cool. I'm on kind of a janky headset, so I guess my biggest takeaway from the game is the pesky sticks of the play in the defensive zone, man. Like, I didn't see very many clean zone entries for the Stars all night long. It was really impressive. And, I'll keep this pretty brief and let you guys kind of go off of my points, but Brock M.F.N. Faber. Holy cow, dude.
How about that?
The spotlight wasn't too big. In fact, I think like he just transitioned from the national championship to this big stage seamlessly. It's like he didn't even miss a step. So I can't wait to see what the future holds for him and the rest of this defensive play that we're starting to see. Thanks for having me on, guys. Dex, have me on for Vikings sometime. It'd be fun to chat with you guys some more.
Absolutely.
Great stuff,
Thank you, Mark. Mark in Minneapolis, they're dropping some great takes. The stick entries. I don't have a football sounder, but that's hockey right there. That's a hockey stick entries. We had
I know what he's saying, though. I know what he's saying. The blue line was hard to penetrate. That's all I got to say about that. This was a tough team.
All right, let's go next to Jack. Jack, what's up, buddy? You're on Wild Event Line. How are you?
Hey, good. How about y'all?
Doing good, man. We're staying in there. We're awake. We're up now.
Wide awake.
Yeah. Man, that was a crazy game. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway I had coming off of that was I feel like every time we're in the playoffs, first round, we're getting just bullied the whole game. Big time. We're just not ready for the stage. And I feel like tonight, for the first time, at least for the first two periods, I felt like we were really bringing it to them. Constant checking, just not giving them a break. I feel like if they can consistently do it, I feel pretty good about the rest of the series.
Good stuff, man. Thank you. Yep, this felt like the opposite of Blues series where the Blues kick your ass. And you're like trying to be cute, like last year. You're trying to be cute. You're out there trying to be cute. Who can score? And they're kicking your ass. This time, you did that. And look, I mean, the Pavelski hit, we can debate. That's a defining hit, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the type of hit that that's the type of hit that would happen to the Wild. And then they'd be like, what happened?
Absolutely. All right, we'll keep it moving here. Wild vent line. Thanks for everyone. We got still a bunch of people hanging out in the room. We're gonna get to as many calls as we can. Obviously, late here tonight. This is your show too, by the way. So this is a Wild safe show. Judd and I will be doing this after every game. Judd, I don't know if it'll be at 1 a.m. every single time, but regardless, you and I will be ready to talk to as many Wild fans as possible.
No question.
If that's the case throughout the first round series. Let's go next to is it Tommy or Tony?
It's Tommy.
Tommy. Okay.
Hey,
Tommy.
I love the garb, Tommy.
Hey, thanks. My
Look at
mom
that.
wanted me to be unique, so she gave me 1M.
Oh, that's fine. I love that. But the hat, dude, that's a great hat. I've never seen
Right.
that hat before. Very nice.
Thanks.
What you got?
I gotta say, my day started at 5:45 a.m. I had a 16-hour day at work, and all I wanted to do was make it to Wild Vent Line tonight.
Thank you.
I got home with 9 minutes left in the third period. It was 2-2. I was so excited for the next 9 minutes. And then at 9 minutes left in the first overtime, I was like, I'm not excited anymore. Now I'm sweating. I'm heart racing, very much like Viking season.
Yeah.
My goodness. Filip Gustavsson. Can we talk about this kid? Wow.
Of course. Yes. How calm is he?
What a
His heart.
performance.
Speaking of heart rate, I don't think the dude's heart rate. I think it's just like this.
Ice cold.
I mean, again, how often have we watched, God bless him, Devin Dubnyk, right? With some fluky goal that ends your season or ends a playoff game, stanchion here for Kane, goal off a guy's butt there. Gustafsson, perfect positioning, and he never looks like he's rattled.
And I don't think anyone was thinking, why didn't we start Marc-Andre Fleury?
No.
Nobody was thinking that.
This was the right move.
It was.
100%.
It really was.
100% the right move. Tommy, great stuff, man. Thank you so much, okay? Get some
Love
rest.
the show, guys. I'll be on Vikings Vent Line later this year.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Tommy.
Hopefully it's as good as this one.
No doubt. No doubt. Some great Wild fans calling in here on Judd's Hockey Show. By the way, if this is the first time you're describing us, hit that subscribe button. This is Judd's Hockey Show. Judd Zolgad on the screen there. I'm Declan Goff. We break down Minnesota Wild news, everything from reckless speculation, the line heathens, to now playoff vent lines. This is your show on Judd's Hockey Show. So hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel and however you're listening, Apple, Spotify, score. We appreciate a 5-star review. Let's go next to Nick here. Nick, what's up, man? You're on Wild Vent Line.
What's up, Declan? You guys hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
All right. Just a couple of things real quick. I think it's going to be real hard with the way Steele played tonight for either Sundqvist to fit back in. I mean, Ack's going to be an automatic fit once he comes back. It just depends who's going to get sent down. But I think Steele, the performance he had tonight, solidified him in this lineup. They clogged up the neutral zone. They played the kind of hockey they need to play in the playoffs. And it goes to show that, Dallas has been blowing guys out of the water, but Minnesota's played more one-goal games. They've had these tight games down the stretch that's prepared them for this run. If I had to be critical, 17, I think the emotions is getting the best of him with his game struggling right now. I mean, he did provide some physical effort with a hit on Robinson, but you could see it just boiling over with him, and I think he's going to be an easy sit. Not to agree with Jesse and Judd here, but I think 17 sits later on in this series if things keep going the way they are. That's all I got, guys. Thanks,
man.
Nick.
That's going to really pain Dean.
Yeah.
That's going to really pain Dean. I don't know Dean can do that.
Two things on his point. Number one, there were some times that Foligno was really noticeable. He was laying the wood. He had some big time hits.
Yep.
He's still clearly chasing the puck a little bit. I actually think the only way maybe you make the case that guys are going to come into the lineup is because you just had a whole team play essentially, a game and a half's worth of time here tonight. And are they going to be rested by the time game 2 starts? That's maybe the only reason why you might have to make some lineup changes, Judd. I don't know about you, but
they got a day off. I think I don't think that they'll rest guys like in the old days going back to back. Guys played, so I don't think that they'll rest guys based on that. Here's my question: once he gets out of his uniform and they examine it, what's Hartman's status? He could barely skate. He had before he scored the goal. He also had a chance in the second OT off of a pass in front, and it looked like he was hopping towards the puck. Like he didn't look like he could push off there. So my question is Steele going to have to go in for Hartman, or is Steele going to end up replacing Hartman with Eck also now? Because Eck is going to be a pain threshold thing. So that's question one. While I do think that there's a case to be made about Foligno, I think Dean is going to look at the tape and love what he saw from him completing his checks tonight. I mean, he was beating people up. And I don't mean in fights. I mean physically. He was taking guys out. Dean Evason's going to love that.
All right, let's continue to roll through. We have like a full green room here.
And I'm going to request for a flag, so here you go. I don't think we have a song. Oh, the joy, folks.
Acapella on them.
The flag's for you right there, okay? So everyone should be happy. Okay, go ahead.
All right, let's go to Tristan next here on Wild
Yo,
Line.
huge
Tristan.
fan, guys. I just got 3 points. The Wild Grit video, that set the tone, and awesome to hear you guys in it. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Faber better than Fiala. I saw that in the chat. That's a big thing I have to say. And, I honestly think, he's the best defenseman. That's my reckless speculation. He's probably one of the best defensemen on the team, honestly. He's just got to catch up to speed, my opinion. And a question, how do you guys start Fleury? I really don't know how you can pull Gus right now. Yes, the goals on the power play, they were quick and their power play is amazing. So how can you pull them? But, Gus is playing on his head. He just broke the franchise record. He's obviously, like you guys said, ice cold. How do you pull him? Those are my points. Thanks, guys. Great show.
Thanks, man.
Thank
Great
you,
stuff.
Tristan.
Gus starts game 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think, keep in mind in 2003, when Manny Fernandez and Dwayne Rollison both played, they didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. They waited until they lost, and then they made the switch, and both played. And I do think that if the Wild is to make a playoff run, both guys will play. But Filip Gustavsson, I think, has to start game 2. I mean, my God, when you can remain that calm, cool, and collected, I'm sorry, but Fleury, as much as I love the guy tonight, one, I don't know that he would have won the game. 2, his style is not cool, calm, and collected. What we saw tonight was damn impressive.
Keep it going. Let's go next to Jay now on Wild Bent Line. Jay, what's up, man?
Boys, how we feeling?
We're feeling good. Shocking.
I'm wearing the hat just for Brock Faber tonight. I mean, truly unbelievable from a kid who was playing in college hockey last week. And I just want to give kudos to Dean and Billy G for putting their confidence in him and putting this kid into the playoffs. Where I think Dean's a little bit hesitant on the younger guys coming in.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to say thank you to them as well. I mean, it's on them as well. Trust this kid, and he lived up to it, man.
Absolutely. Well, and how about this too? Billy Guerin's deadline moves. Okay, Johansson was great. Like had 2 or 3 great chances in OT. Gustav Nyqust, who was sort of a wild card, like they weren't positive that he could play, and we're told he probably can. How good was he tonight? He made 3 or 4 phenomenal passes. Like this team, I give Guerin credit. This team is built for this. They might get tired, and I'm not saying that they're going to win for sure. But I keep coming back to this question. When's the last time you watched a Wild playoff game and felt like this?
It doesn't feel like Vegas game 1 when we won in overtime. It feels a little bit better.
It feels, yes, because it doesn't feel as skilled. It feels reliant on the fact that you played a hockey game. Thanks,
sure.
man.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
stuff. Love the hat.
Absolutely. again, we have like 1,500 people. Shout out to you guys for making this
You guys
happen
are
on a
great.
Wild Event Line. We're going to be doing this after every single game this series. So little update too. I'm seeing some tweets prowling from a friend of the show, Michael Russo, tweeting that Peter DeBoer saying he isn't confident Joe Pavelski will play in game 2 after being removed from the ice after the Dumba hit. That was no call. Then it was a 5-minute major, and then they reviewed it and they said, actually, no, it's 2 minutes. And then I forget who got taken for instigating. Was it Domi?
Domi. And
Yeah,
he got 2 and 10.
10 minutes. Yeah, 2 and
Yeah,
10.
and
So.
Kaprizov jumped in, and I just about jumped into the TV. I'm like, Kirill, if that's called a fight, you don't want any part of that. And Hartman, of all people, peeled Kaprizov off and said, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
But that hit had a major impact on Matthew Dumba's game and the game, I thought, as a whole.
Let's go next to Henry now on Wild Event Line. Henry, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm all right. How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
All right, perfect. 2 things. One, I thought Gustavsson stood on his head, and that was so much fun to watch. I was just like over the moon watching him block all these like great chances that the Dallas Stars had. And 2, I was on Twitter and I kept seeing tweets all about the hit, whether it was like a big deal or not a big deal. I was just curious what you guys thought, if you had any strong opinions one way or another.
Thanks, man. I don't. It was borderline. It went on a replay. If you slowed it down, it was late.
Mm-hmm.
In real time, it was a pretty good hit. The unfortunate thing is Pavelski fell awkwardly there. He clearly didn't expect the hit and hit his head. And I believe he's had concussion problems. So it's concerning.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he does not, if he is out for the series. But I don't have like a clear, that was a 5-minute major, a suspendable hit. I thought it was borderline, but I will say this, it impacted the game. And if you're the Wild, it impacted the game positively.
Absolutely.
And that's hockey, man.
That is, those hits are going to happen too. Like those type of big knocks, they're going to happen, man.
And at real speed, it's like puck bang. So the question is, it's sort of like the football defenseless receiver thing. When a guy lowers his helmet and the receiver goes down too and gets hit and it's a 15-yard penalty, it's like, okay, but that's a bang bang play. That was the definition of a bang bang play. Unfortunately, Pavelski, I thought pretty clearly didn't brace himself for it.
Keep it moving on Wild Vent Line, that is. Let's go next to John now. John, what's up, buddy? You are on Wild Vent Line.
Good evening, guys. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Thank you.
Hey, last time I talked to you was after game 3 last year. And look what shirt I still have on.
Oh, yeah. Ryan Hartman.
This shirt was on. I live in Wyoming and I drove down to Colorado. I was on the glass on the Minnesota offensive side. And that's where I became impressed with Sam Steele. And tonight he was phenomenal. His stick, that goal, breakaway against Ottinger, that's a pretty impressive thing. On that second penalty on Foligno, did anybody else notice that one of our boys went into the wall with a cross check and then the whistle was blown? And then all of a sudden they're walking Foligno to the penalty box. And I was like, what the heck's going on there? I thought that was for sure going to be a boarding call. But, Gustavsson has to start game 2. Our fourth line, man, they really carried their weight tonight. I remember it was late in the overtime. They were on the ice versus the first line. And they had just iced the puck. And I was like, oh, no. And they were able to stand their ground, clear the ice. And Hulu sucks. It crashed right before the goal. I didn't get to see.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Go on Twitter, John. It's on there a bunch. Bally Sports North right now.
But hats off to you guys. I watch you. I just YouTube search Minnesota Wild, and I watch you guys every show. So thanks for what you do. And yes, whoever said this feels better than the Vegas game 1 nailed it. What a gut check tonight. Way to go, boys.
Absolutely. Good stuff from John there. On his point of Sam Steele, I mean, Judd, you and I were talking about it with Jesse Pierce, which you can also find on this YouTube channel and on the Judd's Hockey Show feed, about who's gonna be the GOAT, right? Who's gonna step up in playoff series, and what you see in these type of series is random guys that aren't Kirill, aren't Boldian. I know Kirill got on the score sheet tonight, but Sam Steele scores the equalizer. I mean, who had the money line? Who had the prediction on Sam Steele being the guy that ends up tying this game and sending it to overtime? You need those type of guys to step up and score big time goals like that. So good on Sam Steele to be one of those guys.
Absolutely. And I believe he also is going to get or got the first assist on the Hartman goal in the second OT, because he, I think, had it deflect off his skate and it went back towards, because it's a weird carom. If you go back and watch, it's a weird play that gets the puck on Hartman's stick there. I'm just checking to see second OT. Yep. Hartman from Steele. So Sam Steele, 2 points, absolutely key. The Nyqust pass on the Steele goal on the breakaway was gorgeous.
I thought Nyqust quickly was one of the most noticeable player in overtime. I mean, he was all over the ice. I thought he was making plays. He was dishing things out. He had a really, really strong game. Can see why the Wild traded for him. Keeping it moving on Wild Vent Line. We'll go to Andrew next. What's up, Andrew? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going tonight?
Good.
Big
Good.
W. Big W. Let's go. Like you guys were just saying, Gustav Nyqust. Big night. Big night. I thought if you compare it to the Wolves, if I wish they had Naz Reid, he put in valuable minutes tonight. Little offense, little defense. Sam Steele could be the GOAT. You never know. He could pull us through the first round. Let's go.
Hey, you know what? If you get a different performance from the Sam Steeles of the world throughout a playoff series, that can carry you. It's not that game 2 now, Sam Steele, let's go. And you know what? I won't be completely shocked if Sam Steele eventually gets scratched here, because that's how this team works. That's how this team works. You've got to play within the structure. I mean, that's what they finally demanded. And look, it worked. That team was exhausted tonight, but you know what they did? In the second OT and throughout, they counterpunched constantly. So they kept counterpunching. They were rope-a-doping Dallas. They were up against the ropes, Declan. How many times? I mean, Boucher said at one point, this is a matter of time, right? I mean, they're the boxers up against the ropes, but they punched back enough that they were able to win. And you take game 1, home ice now goes to Minnesota. It's absolutely huge.
I believe it was Bill Guerin that said about Fiala last year, you're only as good as your last game, right? And that applies to your logic of, Sam Steele was good tonight, but if he's bad in game 2, they could take him out. That's kind of the having to pay the price of playing playoff hockey. We'll go next to Brandon now on Wild Vent Line. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
No worries.
There we go.
There you go. Get yourself centered. Good stuff.
Yeah. So I just want to ask, everyone seems to be talking about Brock Faber, Gustavsson. Obviously, they deserve a lot of credit, but Sam Steele, has he earned himself kind of a spot on the final roster? Because he's been scratched a lot. He was a little streaky, but, now has he kind of proved himself?
Yes. And look,
thanks, Brandon.
I think that Dean loves him. Okay. Like, I think he's not the world's most talented guy, but he works his ass off and he's got some skills. And I think that Dean appreciates and loves the fact that he has, and the one thing that you could say is he has kept himself prepared to play, right, Dex? But I mean, Hartman might be hurt now. So if Hartman's out and they expedite Eriksson Ek's return, Steele still plays then. So like, that's the thing about it. We always, to go back to what we talked about a few weeks back before the playoffs started, we always are like, well, where's this guy going to play then? I mean, if somebody comes back, guys just get hurt. Like, these are the playoffs. You're going to lose people. You are going to lose them. And that's where the Sam Steeles of the world are so pivotal, because they don't get pissed off. They don't pout. They don't whine. They don't like sitting in the press box, but when they are brought out of the press box, they are prepared to play. The Wild, in short, is the anti-Wolves. They're professionals. The Wolves are a collection of about 1 or 2 guys who are true professionals. The Wild's professionals.
And it's wild because Brandon brings up, Sam Steele. He's like the fourth or fifth guy to bring him up because he had such a good game. Like he's had such a noticeable game. You asked me, I think, Judd, like in December, I said, you asked, kind of in the middle of that hot streak from Sam Steele out of nowhere, said, is this legit? Is this sustainable? Is this going to be someone that is going to pop up here and be like the Ryan Hartman of last year? And I said, I don't think so. And he was scratched numerous times in the second half of the season, but he was great tonight. And you need guys like that, again, to just step up and score big-time playoff goals for you. So good on him there. A few more guests here still hanging out with us on Wild Vent Line. Let's go next to Bryce. Bryce, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, guys? All right. I'm going to start off with I'm actually not a Wild fan, but I'm in Minnesota. Okay? As you can tell by up next to me. But behind my head is Fleury and Reeves signed photo.
Nice.
So I want to ask Judd, 1 out of 10, how tired are you?
How what?
How tired are you?
Tired? I'm not. I'm wide awake. That game has me wired. Plus, I got some caffeine.
Okay, so my hot take for tonight: Wild Knights into the Stanley Cup.
Ooh, Western Conference Final.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's my hot take. That's gonna be a series to go to the Stanley Cup.
That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not tired at all. I'm wide awake.
I feel like that the path in the Pacific's a little easier than the Central path. Because Dallas and Colorado are still going to be really damn good. So it's going to be interesting.
What's the bracket look like right now? So it's going to be
LA and Edmonton, right?
It's Golden Knights and Jets. And look, the Jets. Here's the weird thing. The Jets were a really weird team. At one point, they were in first place in the Central. Then they damn near didn't make the playoffs. But right now, Connor Hellenbach is playing great. And he is, when he's playing great, one of the best goaltenders. So I don't think that the Wild, or I'm sorry, I don't think the Golden Knights are a shoo-in to beat the Jets. However, that being said, Mark Stone is coming back. Because shockingly, Vegas always just gets guys back when the playoffs start.
That's right.
So that could be intriguing. But yeah, I think the Wild is far more concerned right now about trying to get 3 more wins against the Stars because it's not going to be simple.
I think it's Peeler 102 here on a YouTube channel says Dumba must have gone to Livia weight control to get into form. Well, I can't confirm that Matt Dumba did that. He's actually a pretty in shape guy, but he's looking like Judd these days. With playing double overtimes and making a noticeable difference in his game.
Yep.
Judd, why don't you tell the audience about our friends at Livia?
I certainly will, and I'm going to tell you a story about a place that's going to help you drop the weight just like they helped me. As Declan just said, our friends at Livia Weight Control Centers do magnificent work, and as I said, it's weight control. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appeal to you. This is not a diet. This is not a quick fix. This is not a short-term plan. This is weight control. They're going to help you drop the pounds, and then most importantly, they're going to help you keep the pounds off. Several Score North listeners and viewers have joined, and every one of them has said, you know what, Judd, it worked for me. And I always say, if it can work for me, it can work for you. Join today, and a new offer just out yesterday. 3 months free, ladies and gentlemen. 3 months free. Cruise into summer, looking good, feet feeling good, and all those clothes that don't fit now, they're going to fit you thanks to our friends at Livia. 855-GO-LIVIA, LIVEA.com. Livia, LIVEA.com.
I have a little update speaking of Livia and good, meals you should be eating. Ryan Hartman said between overtime intermissions, the group refueled with peanut butter, jellies, bananas, and a 12:30 Red Bull. That's what Ryan Hartman was was a Red Bull.
Okay.
He had a Red Bull at 12:30 a.m. to keep him going and get him that overtime goal. So nice little meal there for him. A few more guests left here on Wild Vent Line. Let's go to Dante next. Dante, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course.
What a game, man. Honestly, the thing that kept coming back to my mind was just how, throughout the season, all the games, you're watching them. It just seems like there's always something that's going wrong. Maybe they're playing a good game, maybe they're winning, but there's just something, bad plays made, some players making a mistake. And this was the first game all season where, I can't remember a single time where honestly that thought came to my mind. It was just a solid game. Just a complete coordinated effort from every player on the team. It was just a phenomenal performance from everybody.
And I think the best part about that is it started with the coach. I think it started with the coach. Like there was no question about how this structure worked. And look, you know what? As far as the style of play that the Wild had, you might consider it on a national level to be sort of boring. Because it was Dallas creating the chances, and the Wild was basically, as I said, up against the ropes. The game I thought was spectacular. I loved it. But the point is, the Wild's not going after style points. The days of style points are gone. What this team's going after are playoff wins, and that's what they worked on tonight.
Love it. A few fans left here on Wild Vent Line. We'll go next to Steve. He's got his shades on. He's in a great little setup. He's got his jersey. What's up, Steve?
Oh, man, not much. I tell you, it was a great night tonight. The spirit of Elite 1C Victor Rask was in the building. Just amazing things tonight. Everyone was heating up. And I think the main takeaway was that we needed to beat the Stars up, and we did.
Yep.
And I was really worried that the Stars were going to show up tough and we were going to wilt, but that didn't happen. We were the tough guys in the room. And, I mean, it was just amazing. Revo was smacking people around. Foligno was smacking people around. Nyqust was coming in clutch. Faber made an amazing playoff debut. It was just so many things went right. Even when it seemed like the Stars were pulling ahead, I still was smiling because the Wild were playing the game they needed to play, even when it really didn't seem they didn't. Yeah, so
100%.
Great stuff, Steve.
Exactly right. That's 1,000% right. There was never a moment like you thought they might lose. That is true. But there was never a moment where I said, are they really doing the right thing here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they really doing what they should do here? Every playoff series for like the last 4 of them, I've always been like, what are they doing? Tonight, never said that.
All right, let's go next to Ethan now on Wild Vent Line. Hey, Ethan, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Hello.
Love it.
Yeah. Couple takeaways from the game. I think Gus is definitely the guy. I mean, guys have been saying it earlier. And I think with last year, how they handled the goalie situation, I think it's going to be, a lot better this year and a lot clear cut who's the guy now. And, maybe we sign him long term. I think the guys think we should lock him up.
Oh, yeah, they'll have to.
It'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but they'll have to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fantastic. I love the fact he's flatline. I just love not having a goaltender who you're like, what's he doing? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And that's not a dig at Fleury. But again, I just go back to Dubnyk. I go back to the playoffs with Dubnyk. And it's like, okay, it's Doobie time. There's a puck off his skate, goes in. You know, there's a dumb goal that shouldn't have been scored. This guy's positioning tonight was great. That was a high stress game, and the goaltender the goaltender never showed you that.
Yeah, I know. You looked at him like in between whistles, just skating around. He's just cool as a cucumber.
I know. God, I love that.
Yeah. And second thing.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead, Ethan. Yep.
Second thing I kind of noticed, we kind of got a lot of breaks from the refs, later in the game. A couple of tripping calls. I mean, you see the Dallas crowd; they were going wild. The refs.
You know what? I thought they called. And I think they were concerned about losing control. I thought they called a few too many penalties in the second period there. But here's what I think, and I'll take this every time. I felt that it was very even. Like they definitely didn't favor Dallas. Now they did put Dallas on power plays in each OT, and so like that's suboptimal. But that being said, I never felt like the old Minnesota we're being screwed.
Yeah.
And on the road in a playoff game, I'll take that every time.
Yeah. That's
I'll always take that.
For.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great stuff, Ian. Yep.
Great stuff, man. Thank you.
All right, we got one more left here on Wild Vent Line, Judd. We'll go to Campbell.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Not much, buddy.
Yeah. I just want to say that I think Faber definitely earned his spot in this lineup tonight with that, especially with that defensive play at the end with the block, but just his play all night, honestly. It shows clearly that Coach Dino's got the trust in the young kid, and I think he delivered on that tonight. He made Dino look good with that trust.
How great was that play on Marchment, you guys?
Oh, my God.
Like, I mean, that's a goal. That net is empty.
For sure.
That's a good night. See ya, too bad. That's a loss right there. And that kid, like how many defensemen, Spurgeon would do it. Brodeen is just great, so he would. But outside of those two, I think Middleton might make that play, but I ain't sure about that. The ordinary Dumba, not the Superman that played tonight, doesn't make that play. You know, I will say this in his defense, although I think he'll be scratched for game 2. Johnny Merrill made a play similar, but he didn't have to go down. I think it was in the third. It might have been in the third period of the first OT, where he also, where there was, where I think it was Dodonov took the puck and tried to go around. He basically was going to go around Gus and try and shoot it. And Gus was down. Gus made a play, but he couldn't stick with the play. And Johnny Merrill came with his stick and blocked it. That was a nice play. This team tonight was so structured. It's just great. But yeah, Brock Faber was phenomenal. The future is very bright with Brock.
There's one more thing I just wanted to touch on real quick is that the guys totally just came out and hustled, and like, if only we could see the Wolves do that. But
yeah,
this is exactly what they needed to do, and they're going to have to come out and do the same thing if they want to have a chance of winning game 2.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But at least worst case, you come back with the split. Thanks, man. Great stuff.
Thanks, Campbell.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you wrapping things up.
Yeah, the Wolves, that's its own story. And I've seen I see comments saying, where's the Hockey Whisperer? I think the Hockey Whisperer, if again, is he still a thing? I don't know if he's a thing. I thought he was on an island.
I tried to get him back.
I know people kind of was like, oh, Declan's getting a little defensive. I just thought he was gone for good. That's all. And now I can just waltz back in because the Wild win, an epic game. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Perhaps he'll appear tomorrow. I don't know.
We'll certainly see.
Got my notes right here.
Judd, we just did a nice little vent line session there. Obviously, speaking of the Hockey Whisperer, regardless, Mackie, Judd, and myself will be live tomorrow to break this down, plus other Judd's Hockey Show related content as we see fit. But any last takes from you as we wrap up at almost 2 a.m. Central Time here in the Wild's first playoff win?
One of the most impressive games I've seen from this franchise, and certainly in the playoffs in years. Absolutely, just from top to bottom, one of the most synced, coordinated efforts I have seen. I am beyond impressed. The goaltending was great. The defensemen were great. Dallas, I mean, flat out, as far as like skill goes, Dallas was the superior team for the majority of tonight's game. But I cannot tell you how impressed I am with that performance. And I think it sets a tone. This team is going to be tired, but this is the playoffs, baby. I think it sets a tone for what our expectation needs to be from how they're going to play. And if they play like they did tonight, it's going to take work, but they can win the series.
Look, you don't want to see the team going to double OT every single time, but you said with Jesse and myself this morning, these games are going to be boring. And I know that sounds weird that they just want a double overtime game. I'm not saying that was a boring game, but I mean, there was some lulls, right? It wasn't a sexy back and forth 6-4 high flying game. Yep. There was some lulls there, and that's how the Wild are going to win these games in the playoffs, man. That's how it's going to happen. So,
and that's why we're going to wave the flag. That's why we're going to wave the flag, because when they win these games from 2003, I keep saying this is 2003, very much the same style, updated for 2022, 23. Wave the flag.
All right. We're going to end this one so I can get this posted to the podcast feeds, and we can get just a couple hours of winks before we're back at it on Score North tomorrow with Mackie and Judd. Pat Royce, we got bonus scoops with Doogie. We got a draft with Thor that we're going to get to. So there's plenty of content. We don't sleep here at Score North, do we, Judd? Maybe a couple winks here and there.
We wait for face-off.
Wait for face-off.
Coffee.
Yep.
Stella, get my coffee going for the morning.
That's right. Vinny's going to be really pissed at Dad here in 10 minutes when he moves him to the side of the bed. We'll see how that goes. Might need some Nutrisource treats to make that one happen.
Just take the couch.
Actually, that might be the move.
Stay on the couch.
All right, write that down. Declan on the couch. Hit that subscribe button for daily Minnesota sports entertainment. This is Judd's Hockey Show. This is your show. Thanks to you to so many Wild fans who made this one of the most listened to and watched Wild podcasts and honestly NHL podcasts around. We appreciate you guys. And remember, pass, shoot, score.